Hey guys, it's me. Sorry I'm like an hour late on lunch. But if you're out on the East Coast, hopefully you're staying warm, so this should still apply to you. And for all my buddies down in Orlando, Matt, Jeremy, and the whole gang, say have some fun at Funnel Hacking Conference. But today I want to continue part 2 of what I started yesterday about the keto diet and the apple cider vinegar and how to avoid gaining the weight back. Okay, so yesterday we went over the benefits and how apple cider, I call it ACV, applies to your not only your daily intake, but also if you are choosing to go the ketogenic diet or the keto diet way, how to help you avoid gaining weight back. So primarily today we're going to focus on why, how, and what will be your next steps. Okay, so let's start with the ketogenic diet or the keto diet. In a nutshell, what we're talking about when we're talking about keto diet, we're talking about using the fat nutrient as your clean fuel. And notice how I'm saying clean fuel for the concept that you're actually almost running your body, your engine through the good process of using a good fuel in order to perform and live day in, day out better, with more mental clarity, with more energy, and most importantly, with less physical setbacks like inflammation related things and aches and pains at the joint level. Okay, this in comparison to your, let me call it the low carb or the South Beach diet kind of thing, that are more focused on the carbohydrate component. Okay, and those, let's call it, are less clean, or let's say diesel. Since yesterday I was using the car analogy, let's say keto diet is more of the clean fuel, and your paleo, or not paleo, South diet or Atkins diet is more of the diesel fuel diet. Okay, so how can I tell, and I'm using from the second page, how can I tell what am I needing to? Like I mentioned yesterday, kind of look for bodily physical symptoms that you are having muscle cramp or muscle spasms or twitching your eyes and things like that physically, to see if you are off on your pH. And that's when the apple cider vinegar comes in handy, right? Because it's going to help us level out the pH. The second thing that we want to be able to incorporate is a well-balanced level of not only potassium, but also vitamin D. And if you're like us here, like you can see just from the backdrop how cloudy compared to yesterday, we're like 9 months out of the year we're in cloudiness, in gray clouds, crazy. So you want to make sure that your vitamin D intake is level up, because it's a fat soluble vitamin. You want to be able to get enough of the potassium in there, as well as the sea salt, to balance those guys out. So let me look for my little cheat sheet right here. So I'm going to put this up, but I call it the ADDIC acronym. Those are your fat soluble vitamins and minerals, like your vitamin A, D, E, and K. Your fat soluble. So when we're thinking about all this concept, we're trying to create an equilibrium or even permeation between sodium and potassium, hydrogen and oxygen, vitamin D and vitamin K. Okay, when you don't have that level, okay, that's when you have either too much sodium and you feel bloated, or too much calcium and then you start getting like cataracts and kidney stones and gallstones and gouts and all that, because too much of one thing leads to the other. Okay, so again, listen to your body, pay attention to what your body's telling you. Now, as far as the long-term gain from being on the keto diet to avoid gaining weight, plain and simple, you guys gotta get all your minerals as much as possible from vegetables, okay, versus carbohydrate base and grains, because what happens, going back to what I started with, when you start eating a diet that is mostly glucose based versus keto based, then you end up with diesel fuel. Okay, I repeat again, you don't want diesel fuel, you want clean fuel. You want keto fat fuels for your body. And from the physiological science, not to go too deep into like the lab rat mode, your brain actually can function more efficient and for longer period if you use a keto fat based diet than if you use a glucose based diet or glucose. Okay, so like when you see shows like Naked and Afraid or Survivor and whatnot, that's what they're going for, fat intake, versus carbs, when they're in the wilderness. That's what I'm referring to. So again, listen to your body, look for the signs and symptoms. Just like yesterday, I was able to message with a couple of you guys that had a couple of specific questions. If you have any particular scenario with your person that you're dealing with, just message me directly and I can guide you better. But we're trying to help you guys work into more of a keto fat-based diet more than a glucose diet. And yes, one of the person I was messaging with was about cholesterol and muscle atrophy versus fat. When you're in keto dietosis mode, what happens is that we kind of slow down the production of insulin, right? Which is going to help you, strategically done, increase your growth hormone. And the growth hormone, believe it or not, helps you get lean muscle mass, right? Especially if you work out. So it's all about strategizing and knowing what you're putting in your body, and most importantly, what your body's missing. Okay? So cholesterol wise, your body produces cholesterol naturally. So by reducing the amount of insulin via the glucose or the carbs, you're actually taper down your numbers of cholesterol number as well as insulin. So it's a win-win all in all. And the best part of it is that it saves you a lot of money. It will definitely save you tons of money because you feel more productive, you feel full, less hunger, you'll graze less, all in all, because again, strategically speaking, you will actually be eating very dense nutrients. Okay, so again, hit me up with any comments. I'm gonna keep going with my group right now that they're finishing up this week, the Sprint to Spring program, as we're getting some people. Actually, I got 3 gals during the program that are heading to Mexico, and they're thrilled with the process and the progress so far. And all I really done is added apple cider vinegar to their current intake that they're already doing before they started working with me, and they are more aware of how many grains they've been eating in their daily intake before that. Everything else they're still eating. They're still drinking some wine. They're still having chocolate leftovers from before the holidays, and they're just more aware. But just adding that level of balance to their diet, they're already losing inches, which is super cool. So all I'm gonna do is a little tidy up in their actual balance of more veggies, more dark greens, and they'll be set to go to Mexico. At least 3 of them. So definitely hit me up. I'm glad that you guys joined, and let me know if I can answer any other questions before the next upcoming program. All right. Again, say hi to everybody down in Florida for me, you guys, while you guys are funnel hacking. In the meantime, enjoy the weather. Bye-bye.